Welcome to a new video on AlHuTV, today featuring the CoreBook Air from Chuwi. And it really deserves the name Air because it weighs just 1 kilogram and is ultra thin at only 9 millimeters. And at its thickest point, it's just 16 millimeters. So truly an ultra thin and feather light laptop. Here it's a 14-inch laptop and it comes equipped with a Ryzen 5 6600H. We have 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM here and 512 gigabytes of storage space. So let's take a closer look at it. It also has a Copilot key. I find that super interesting because it means we can launch various Gemini or JGPT functions directly at the press of a button. This Copilot is also super cool. So as I said, definitely stay tuned. Yeah, our CoreBook Air definitely doesn't need to hide here. Looking at the brightness here, it's a 14-inch. We have a great resolution here, namely a 1610 format, so with 1920 by 1200 as the pixel format that we have here. A very bright display. As I mentioned earlier, we've got the Ryzen 5 6600H installed here. That means with 6 cores we can really multitask quickly here. That's not an issue at all. Yes, but you can also play games on it, that's possible too. Of course, that's only possible to a certain extent here. We'll also do a Nero score check in a moment, so we can take a closer look at that as well. But it's absolutely clear here. For working at home, in the home office and so on, it's of course perfect. It's ideal. And because it's so light, you can take it anywhere. It's just extremely light and thin. And that's exactly how you do it. It's comfortable when you carry it from A to B. At just 1 kilogram, it's really a featherweight. So now I'd say, let's take a look together. Let's check out the laptop here under the camera for a moment. You can see the ports again. We'll quickly go through them and then we'll take a look at the desktop. Of course, we'll take a look at the Copilot key here, as I mentioned, but we'll definitely check this out as well. Let's see what Nero Score Jack has to offer here and what other pre-installed software comes with it. This is also quite interesting, namely something called Chuwi Easy Care. So that's interesting too. We'll take a look at it, but first let's examine everything under the camera. So as you can see, the whole thing is extremely thin. Of course, when closed, it's only 9 millimeters thick, just as I mentioned. And if we take a look at it here, we can also see the ports that we have. Here we have a USB-C port, and here we have a USB-E. 3 ports, we have a jack here, and on the other side we also have an audio output, of course. That's located down here on both sides, as you can see. And here. On the other side, we have an HDMI port, which is super practical if you have the laptop with you. If you want to connect to a projector or something similar, you can just hook it up here. Or a TV, and then here we have another USB-C port. And here as well, and this one on the side, by the way, that's the one for charging. Yes, because here we have a USB-C charging port. So we've taken a look at the whole thing now. That's definitely the case. 2 USB-C ports, one of which is intended for charging. Yes, and speaking of charging, I almost forgot to mention this. We've got proper fast charging here, namely with 65 watts, and the PC has a 55 watt-hour battery. It really lasts a long time, has amazing endurance, I have to say. I've already done quite a bit on it. I haven't charged it even once yet, and it really holds up wonderfully. So, charging performance, we've got 55 watt-hours and fast charging here. Your address, as I said, perfectly suited for on the go, quickly recharged, and has solid endurance. So now I'd say let's take a look at the desktop together. Yes, on the desktop we can already see a few pre-installed apps from me. Of course, some more have been added later, which we'll take a look at. We have here, as I already mentioned, we've got Word, PowerPoint and the like. Already included. Excel as well, because it's perfect for a home office. That's already pre-installed, ideally. We have here Windows 11 Pro is also pre-installed, which is of course super convenient. And right now, I'd say let's take a quick look at our CPU setup first because I want to show you that. So here we see the CPU, namely the AMD Ryzen 5, which I already mentioned to you. Here we can see a few features right on the front of the mainboard. PCI Express 4.0 is included here. We have 16 gigabytes of DDR5 across 4 memory slots, so slots 1 to 4. That means we have 4 times 4 gigabytes here. So for graphics, there's an onboard graphics card here, the AMD Radeon, the 6600M, is usually included with this chipset, so it's generally sufficient for typical games. Yes, and then there's this, I've mentioned it before. This is Chuwi Easy Care. I'll open it up because I find it super interesting. Here we have the dashboard. When you open it, you can see certain things, yes. Overviews regarding memory, CPU, And here again, the graphics card is shown, including how much it's being utilized. We can see some data about our current status. Then you can access further system information here, which you can read off, similar to CPU ID, except that here it's already provided directly by Chuwi. You can also check the hard drive here, or the battery, to see how good its condition is. And as you can see, it's amazing how much endurance it has. I can really only recommend it to you. And then we also have a system here, basically, where you can scan for viruses and so on. That's possible too. We can also optimize a few things here, which I find quite interesting. We can also, I think it was here, yes, take a look at a few drivers. Oh, there it was, right? So there are a few more things you can optimize here and so on. Really, really cool overall. I don't want to go into too much detail. I want to stick to this whole topic here. So we also have a webcam here. You can also open or close it on top here if you want. I tested it once. It's decent. As I said, if you're working from home, you can easily use the webcam here and show yourself here as well. And yes, let's take another look. And then moving forward, we come to my Nero score. It's right here. We have 2,420 here points. So that puts it at 43% of all tested PCs, which means just below average. But nevertheless, we still have decent performance here. So as you've already seen, the new Nero score now also includes an NPU test. But here, as I said, if we take a look at the website, we can see it again up here. I've already taken a peek. Here we can see all the data again that I already mentioned to you earlier. Yes, here in the scorebook, we see it more or less as I described it. And if we go over to the games section, you'll see that CSGO works even on ultra high settings. I've shown that to you, and there are 1 or 2 more games included as well. Maybe a few more will run as well. I haven't tested all of them. That's also possible here. Yeah, and what's also pretty cool here is, let me just make this smaller. Right here, I have the button for the Copilot, which is located here. I just press it once, and as you can see, JetGPT opens up right away, and I can basically use it to, I can just speak here, or I can type something in, or whatever else. That's obviously super practical. I think this Copilot button is really, really cool, the idea behind it. Yeah, as you can already see, the laptop is solid. I think it's not really a gaming laptop though. You just have to say that. Nevertheless, it doesn't have to hide itself. I think especially for presentations for work, maybe where I don't need such an extremely high performance machine, because I often present PowerPoints or have Excel spreadsheets, Word, or just general documentation with me. Super comfortable, super practical, because it's also feather light. You have to mention that. Yeah, otherwise the color is also pretty cool. It's a light blue that we have here, and there's almost nothing more to add. So, as I said, we also have Wi-Fi 6 here. We definitely have Wi-Fi 6 included here as well. And yeah, and Wi-Fi 6 is also on board here. As I said, Copilot Wi-Fi 6. We have here I think this laptop offers enough reasons to say, okay, this could be interesting for me, especially for work and such, home office, or even for my regular tasks, maybe for bookkeeping that I do on it, because bookkeeping, yeah, it doesn't require a lot of power, that's clear. I can browse the internet here without any problems. I can watch my favorite series here. That's really not an issue at all. So, super interesting. And as I said, the CoreBook Air really deserves the Air label with its weight of just under 1 kilogram. A really interesting laptop. And the Copilot key, I also find that super interesting. I haven't seen that before. Yeah, I think I've covered everything here. It's a very interesting laptop. Feel free to check the description below. Everything is linked there. You can take another look at it yourself. Also, you can see again what the features are here. I've already mentioned it, but I just want to repeat it 10 times now. So it's really solid, and for most tasks at home, it's absolutely no problem. Of course, if you want to do hardcore gaming, you'll have to look for something else. But here, the price-performance ratio is absolutely justified. Great device. And as I said, feel free to read up again in the description below. And see you next time on AlHuTV.